Hello, my name is Chloe Elmer. I'm 18 and I recently graduated high school. I'm so thrilled and very thankful to be representing the Southern Arizona Monte Awards. Now, someone who has influenced my path in the arts is my choir teacher, Mr. Lepore. I've known him since I auditioned into his class in 8th grade, and I'm so thankful I did because it was the first time at school that I felt I wasn't pressured to be learning something I wasn't meant for, like algebra or history, but it was just loving music in a class with a fantastic teacher. And then I moved out of 8th grade into freshman year to my high school with a terrifying choir teacher, and I quit, but luckily that got me into drama and theater. But while this was all happening, I was emailing Mr. Lepore life updates, and when I told him I got into theater, he was so happy for me because he was like, good, I'm happy you found a home. I've always known that's where your heart lies, and it was very nice. And then at the very end of the email, it said, by the way, I'm teaching at Ironwood next year. So I took choir again, and I was in a cappella my junior year, and that was fun, and I got to make sounds like dot things, you know, and I also got to be in his class again and learn from him, and he has so many ways of switching outlooks so that you're always learning, and even in negative situations, positive outcomes can happen. And then we learned from my high school that we were going to New York. And I was so excited. I was so very excited, and I ran into his room and was like, Mr. Lepore, we're going to New York. And he was like, I know, I'm a chaperone, and also I work here. And I was like, okay, cool. And I told him that I needed to go to this button store in New York, and it's called Tender Buttons. And he was like, what? You're crazy, but keep going. And I was like, well, they sell only buttons. Like, not like buttons you hit and they say that was easy, but like buttons for coats. And he was like, okay, I still think you're crazy. Most people when they go to New York want to see Central Park or Broadway shows. And I was like, yes, I understand, but I have to go to this button store. And he was like, why? So flash forward back to my freshman year of high school when I just joined theater. I found a book about New York, and it had all these touristy things in it, and on one page it has a whole story about the button store, and I fell in love, because how can a little button store exist in New York? The great big apple where crazy things happen, and it was astounding to me that this place that only sells buttons exists. And so I told him this, and he was like, okay, cool, I still don't understand. And then I was like, Mr. Lepore, if this button store in New York can make it, then so can I. And he was like, okay, kid, we'll try. And so we get to New York, and we're in Central Park, and our tour guide says we have 2 hours to get lunch and walk around the park. And I look over to Mr. Lepore, and he's already pulled up the button store on Google Maps, and we start running there. It's like 1.5 miles. It's snowing in New York, and me being from Tucson, Arizona, has only seen like snow twice, and my toes are freezing, but nothing is stopping me from getting to this button store. And we make it, and I'm jumping up, screaming, crying, and he's taking pictures and sending them to my mom, and we walk in, and on the wall there's all these buttons that say 100 million buttons can't be wrong. And I asked the lady what those mean, and she's like, well, nobody believed that this store in New York with only buttons would make it, but then we sold 100 million buttons, and those buttons can't be wrong. I was like, cool! And I was looking at all these buttons, taking it in, and I look over at the register, and Mr. Lepore has bought me a button that says 100 million buttons can't be wrong. And he said, here, this is for you to have, to remember to believe in yourself. I was like, thank you, Mr. Lepore. And we flew back home, and I've had it with me and thought about the button store anytime I've auditioned, performed, college auditions I got in, and I had it with me the night of the Monte Awards, and I won. And later that night, Mr. Lepore texted me saying, 100 million buttons can't be wrong, and neither can the National High School Music Theater Awards. I'm so proud of you. You deserved every bit of it. And now I'm taking it to the Jimmy Awards to perform on the Minskoff Theater on Broadway. So, thank you.